Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back to Paranormal Time. Today's video is all about the paranormal, whether you are a believer or skeptic. There is no denying that the idea of ghost spirits and other supernatural entities has captivated people for centuries. In this video, we will be searching some of the most compelling evidence for paranormal activity and sharing some of the most chilling story of ghostly encounter and discussing some of the most popular theories about what lies beyond our realm of understanding. So turn off the light, grab a blanket, and get ready to explore the mysterious and often terrifying world of the paranormal time. Let's get started. Today I'm going to tell a horrible fishing adventure during flood story. In 2004, during the floods, I brought live fish into my house. Another article about this incident is also in this group, but it's different. When I was a child and understand what was happening, I used to catch a lot of fish with nets and traps. If there was thunder at night, I would go out of the house between 1 am and 4 am because fish would come up near a pond canal due to lightning strikes, and then I would catch them and fill my bag. It felt like greed. I was such a naughty boy that whenever I saw any fish clearly going towards the snake's hole, should I leave it or not? But no, instead I put my hand into the snake's hole and took out that particular fish by force. It had slipped away from me until its scales were all over my hands due to my clumsiness. Of course, many cuts happening on my hands too. So this was just an introduction for me. Now let's move on the real story. In 2004, there was a terrible flood. I was then a 7-8-year-old boy. At that time, fishing with nets and carrying electricity was common practice, which still exists today. However, I did not have any nets of my own and could not convince my father to get me on neither. But I used to envy the other children who had small nets. Nowadays, catching fish is necessary, so what did we do? One person took his net and caught it with a blade underwater while holding into it tightly so that no one else could take it away from him. Then he bought the huge fish and came back home by carrying it in his hands underwater without anyone noticing. When we get back home and entered the house with the net, suddenly we saw something black on one corner of the net. When we lifted it up, and behold, it was an enormous catfish. Seeing this little boy's excitement at seeing such a big fish in our bucket-like container filled with water made everyone laugh. Then I gave the fish to my mother for cooking, but she needed to help cutting it up, so she sat down with her knife in our balcony, instruction on how to do it properly. So I go inside that garden with many fruit trees and set up my net. The next morning I catch quite a few fish and then leave the net there again. That night there was a thunderstorm and continuous rain. Those who were eager to catch fish would not sit at home due to the sound of thunderstorm, so I left straight away. 2 or 3 more people joined me. My first goal was to find my place net because it was very dark at night and no one in the family knew we had gone out. There was no electricity, only battery operated flashlights were available for use. So that night we went out with 4 or 5 people, but 2 of them did not agree to go into the garden at that night. So 3 of us went in together. First I entered and then the other 2 followed after me. As I walked around 3-4 times because I forget where exactly I had placed my net. Now they are asking what am I doing? But since I don't know where exactly my net is located anymore, so now we're much searching, we have found it quite a lot of fish caught in it, which made me happy without any effort on my part. The remaining two want their share too, but they have come along with me now. So if three people divide, how much will each get? We didn't care about all this while being in the middle of the garden at midnight with our water bottles. After a while, we started our journey to come back. Everyone had bags in their hands and there were fish in the bags. We all came out the garden, but one person stayed behind for a while and then disappeared without anyone noticing. After coming out, I looked back and saw that someone was missing. I asked others about him, but no one knew where he went. I got scared and shouted his name, but there was no response. Now we didn't have the courage to go alone inside to look for him, so two of us decided to take someone with us who lived nearby his house. We quickly went to his house and woke up everyone there, but nobody gave any response because it was raining heavily and they probably couldn't hear us. When I thought about whom should I call from my home, my father broke a window pane thinking something else, which made me stumble. Then suddenly someone appeared near our house holding a fish in hand, walking beside our fence saying, "Hey," we introduced ourselves and told him everything. He immediately took us inside the garden without any delay. After going inside, we saw that he was standing quietly under a big tree with tears rolling down his cheeks, looking at something on the top of another tree nearby. When he saw us, he started crying even more loudly, asking, "Who is this?" With trembling voice, he pointed towards an eagle's nest on top of another tree where we could see three baby eagles huddled together crying silently. He asked them, "Why did you come here at such an hour?" Then pointing towards home said, "Go back." We didn't waste a single moment and started running. That night we didn't come out. The next day the boy got terrible fever. His eyes and mouth were wide open, and that uncle came to take us away. We hid while he scolded Paulette for leaving fish into the net all the long night. If I wasn't there tomorrow, I would have died. Actually, no one in our family leaves us behind. We opened the door and went out. Then we all ate without beating him up. Then asked him why he was standing in the garden. He didn't say anything because he had a fever at that time. The next day, when she told her mother about coming out of the garden, something caught her attention on her side while walking through it. Then she couldn't walk anymore. She was stuck in one place trying to scream but couldn't make any sound. And she doesn't even know where those fish from her hand went either. She can hardly say anything else, but this incident scared her for many days. Even after all this, my mission to catch fish did not stop. During the day, I bought nets for the garden and put them somewhere along our path with a canal nearby. For several days I did not go alone at night, but someone was always with me. But one that fateful day I found many fish and could not carry them. That night there were people around me, and I was caught up in such an incident. When I would come home with the fish, I could be swaying in the wind, and after a while I saw that some of the fish had gone away. Only when I went to pick them up did I see a row of trees ahead with something like a black shadow in between them. Even then, looking in that direction, what was it for me to understand? It must have been 11-12 at night. I noticed little by little what it was.
So for like today, we hope you enjoyed this video and that it has left you to some new insights and perspective on this intriguing topic. As always, thank you for watching and we will see you on the next one. Until then, stay healthy, stay tuned. See you on the next episode. Good night.